Okay, hey guys, Melissa here again. I want to talk about something else. I had somebody message me and ask how my week is going, and there are women around me who I talk to about the abortion issue, and this has been not a hard week, but a week I'm really plowing through some stuff that I have not dealt with lately or before, and I was telling her how my week was going. And one of the things that I was talking about with her was just dealing with some stuff around the abortion issue where, I had actually questioned my judgment. I was like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? And I was examining myself, and I was like, okay, when you broke up with your boyfriend, you were kind of trying to communicate with him and trying to talk to him about, different stuff. And I had already kind of liked another guy. I was only 16, I was still a kid. And I wasn't sure I wanted to go out with him, continue going out with him. And so when he was crying, I actually had a heart. I had a heart, and I actually put him before myself. I actually thought, I probably am not going to break up with him now because, I am making him sad. He's very sad. He was crying, and so I took it at face value, and I had a heart. So I used to, like, I have kicked myself, for like so long, kicked myself and been like, why in the world did you, give in, and why did you let his crying get to you? And it's because I was, a decent person. I was a good person, and I didn't feel the need to be mean, to be rotten to somebody. And so that is where my judgment came into place. And we had already been together a year, and I had no guidance, nobody to help me through that. And so I second guessed myself and thought, okay, yeah, you probably are just not really going to break up with him, and just kind of talk about things. So I am okay with that judgment, and I have kind of stopped kicking myself for that. The real mistake was when the condom broke. He did show like a condom, and it was like, I didn't know, I questioned it, and I was like, did it have holes in it, or a pinhole, or whatever? And he reassured me. So I trusted him. He reassured me it was fine, and that is where the mistake came in, because what did they say? Like 99% of condoms are, safe and effective, and that is where the mistake was, when I felt like he was trying to keep me with him, and to, manipulate the situation that I would stay with him. And so as you work through this stuff, when you go through like post-abortive care, you're working through it, you're trying to really understand the whole situation a little better. So I just want to encourage you, if you've had an abortion, go through the care, go through the stuff with other women, because when you bring stuff out and you're like, why did I do this, or why did I do that? Like that confession, that public confession of bringing it to light, and being able to, go through it with other women too, who probably see stuff that you can't quite see, especially if you went through this on your own. If you had someone to go through it in a community or with sisters or other women, you would be able to say, well, this is my advice, or this is what I would say about this, or don't be alone with a guy in a car when you're breaking up with him, because it's easy to get manipulated, or to feel that you're going to second guess yourself, or whatever it is. Just go through this stuff with other women if you've had an abortion, and it is unbelievable how much the bringing things to the light will help you heal. It's just unbelievable. So even this week, my judgment, I'm like, yeah, I did make a judgment call. Why would I not listen to his side? Why would I, break up with him without listening to how he felt about it? And so, being good hearted and just, you know, thinking of putting someone else's feelings ahead of yourself is not a bad thing. But the problem was, using condoms many times. This one broke. It wasn't the first time that one was used, but this one broke. And there is no oops like with God, but definitely was an oops there with him and me, and just not feeling like I don't know. It was a vulnerable time to already have gone through a relationship issue and now to have to deal with something else. The relationship just broke. It wasn't a relationship that was mature. I mean, when you're dating at 15, you're way too young. You cannot deal with all this stuff. So much stuff is in the relationship and how you deal with a relationship. And that kind of stuff should be, saved for marriage. You should be able to not even think about, sex, and to wait for the right guy. Something I heard on the radio just last night coming home. This girl called up a radio station and she's like, I'm trying to wait for Mr. Right. And the lady on the radio station was like, the best thing you can do is to take care of yourself and be content with yourself than having somebody else make you happy. And there's so much advice out there. I remember reading Teen Magazine and Cosmo, and girls really need help trying to figure things out because they don't always know. They don't always know who Mr. Right is. A lot of older women, like this radio host who was saying, I've been with Mr. Druggie, I've been with Mr. Alcoholic, I've been with Mr. Liar, Mr. Cheater. She is somebody who was a great example, I thought, of speaking into a younger woman's life, because she knows what different guys can be like. And unless you've had that to really understand the different types of guys out there, you're going to go through the experience. Unless you have parents who, have taught you about sex and they've done a good job, you're going to listen to your peers, you're going to listen to other guys, and you're going to go through it instead of already knowing it. So you want that guidance. You want older women in your life to tell you, let me tell you about my dating experience and the type of guys I was with, and to be able to help you through some of the tricky stuff. So that's what I got for you. And as you heal, remember that healing, that bringing it to light is going to help you. And I think for women who have been through abortion, all sin is the same before God, but the consequences of abortion is a very lasting consequence. Don't ever let someone tell you ought to be over it by now, because when we go through this, it's usually in isolation. You don't have anyone to talk to, so when you're not talking about it, you're not healing. And that's why it's kept so many women in the dark for so long, because society doesn't acknowledge it. They have no one to talk to about it. And when you get into a setting with a bunch of good women who are really strong, they're really going to help you heal quickly. If you're around a setting where the women are not strong enough to help you with a post-abortive care group, then it's really not going to help you. So many things happen to women, and for, like, someone said to me, oh, you ought to be over it by now, and I just was blown away. I just cannot tell you. It was like one step forward and 5 steps back. When would I have had time to deal with this? I mean, I got married shortly after, and not only when the abortion happened did I have to finish school, but then here I am married, and I have one kid after another, boom, boom, boom. And then I had a crisis where my husband had cancer, and then 2 more. and it takes a while to heal. And I've heard other women say this too. You know, I've had, you know, an abortion, and then I had another child right after, or the husband dies, or whatever, and there's no way to have that time to grieve until later. So make sure, if anyone ever says to you, you know, you ought to be over that by now, ask them how. You know, you're not me. You have no right to tell me your timetable's my timetable. And usually it's after a woman has had her kids. She now has time to deal with things as they grow up, and she has more time to herself. She has time to deal with that grieving of another child and to deal with the abortion issue. So get the help and bring it to light, and that's the only way we're going to be able to deal with this. And when we have a society who is constantly shutting us down and not wanting to talk about things, and there's only one narrative, we're not going to be able to heal.